Let's tie this elk hair caddis. Get that locked in. Start the thread. Look towards the back. Cut off that extra. Get back here. We're going to start by tying in this wire. Tie it in on the back. I like to put a little extra on the front just to help keep it in place, keep it from pulling out. Next, we're going to tie in the hackle. Tie in that tip of it. Now we're going to take the dubbing. The dubbing, this is a really small hook, of course, so we're going to just take a small piece of this dubbing, just that top piece. I really probably took too much, honestly. And we're going to roll it on the thread here. Fingers wet, of course, to help get that rolled on better. I'm going to stop just a little short here. I don't want to go all the way to the end of the hook. I kind of want that end a little bit bare right now. That's so when we tie on the elk hair, there's a little bit, it doesn't have too much bulk. I'm going to cover it in thread, but I didn't go all the way with the dubbing. Now we're going to take the hackle and just wrap it forward, probably about 3 times. There's not a lot of space on the hook, but we want on about 3 wraps on this. There's 2. It's a really long piece of hackle. It keeps getting caught up in the spool there. There's 4 wraps. Now we're going to tie that off here. A couple of wraps to hold it in place before I snip it. A couple of wraps after to hold it in place. Build up the base of thread there a little bit more. Snap the thread. That happens. We just keep going. I think I showed you in another video. I use these dental, let me show you the package again. These dental flossers. Okay, I just take these and you just run it from the back side. See if I can get this on camera a little bit. Run it from the back side here. Actually, it's easier to catch the thread, then run it through the bottom of the bobbin. Push that through. And get through, just pull the thread right through. Now come back in and start up again here. Tie in that thread. Cut off the excess of the new piece I tied on. Then I'm going to come in, now that that's trapped the old piece, now I can come in and clean up the old piece that's in there. Then we're back in business. Okay, now with this wire, we're going to wrap it opposite direction that we put the hackle in. What that does is it traps the hackle should it break a little bit with, catching too many fish. We're going to wiggle it a little bit too to keep those fibers from all getting collapsed down underneath the wire. We don't want it to trap all of those. We want to have them out there acting like legs like they're supposed to. They got a job, they need to do it, right? Come in, wrap it around my thread a little bit. Tie that down, and you can usually just twist this off. Just hold it tight. Slippery little stuff, but hold it and twist it, and eventually it gives way instead of using your scissors. You don't want to dull your scissors by doing that. Okay, I'm just going to pull everything back a little bit, make a wrap or 2. Now, the reason we held off on too much dubbing up front is because when you pull in this deer hair or this elk hair, we want to make sure that we've got kind of a solid level base to work with. So I'm going to take this. Part of what I'm doing here is I'm just going to take the original fly that I had in the vise initially, this first guy here. I'm just going to match it up a little bit off camera here to see how much of this hair I need to pull out. I got that right amount there. I'm just going to snip that off. And here's what I have. Now, one of the challenges is if you're new to tying, you're not going to have a hair stacker. So I'm not going to use a hair stacker right now because not everybody that's doing these videos is going to have a hair stacker. But you can see on the original that the hairs stack up real nice, right? Let's show you that. They're pretty even on the back end tips. Well, we're going to do this in hand, kind of off camera here. I'm just going to try to line these up by just kind of pushing them in my hand a little bit. And if you look at them again, you can see the back end, they're not the same level anymore because where I cut would have been straight. And now the back end's a little bit better here. And if you have enough hair, you can say, oh, that one's kind of long, and you say, boop, and you just pull it out and give it a little tug here. You want to be careful. You don't want to pull everything out, but just pull out the ones that are too long. So now your cut end shouldn't be lined up because your back end should be lined up better. So this one may not turn out as nice as the original one because, again, I'm not using a hair stacker in this because not everybody's got a hair stacker. You know, the fish don't know if you got a hair stacker or not, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to put this on top of the hook and kind of measure back how far it is. And then I'm going to hold it here. Now when I bring this on, my first wrap of this thread is actually going to be around just the hair, not the hook. By doing that, it kind of helps hold all the hair. Now if you just saw I lowered it, it helps hold that hair together on top of the hook. Now I'm going to come down, wrap a couple more times, around the hook these times. I'm going to kind of tug that up, try to keep everything on top. A couple nice wraps, that's probably like 3 or 4 right there. I'm going to come in with my whip finisher and finish off that. A little bit more off the spool. Try not to break this thread again. Snip off the thread. Now you can see the head's kind of a little crazy. I'm going to just straighten that out a little bit. Come in and cut that flush head off the top now. It's just like giving your dog a haircut. That's the Caddis.